Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to plunge headfirst into some fascinating ideas and really pull out the core insights for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that pressure? You know, the one where you feel you have to be completely, utterly original?
Oh, yeah.
Like every single idea has to be brand new, never touched before.
Mhm.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It really is. That kind of thinking can just stop you in your tracks.
Exactly. Leads to that perfectionism, the self-doubt, maybe just freezing up because you worry you're not unique enough.
hmm
But what if? What if the whole idea we have about originality is, well, maybe just a little bit off?
hmm
So today, we're really digging into that. We're doing a deep dive into Austin Kleon's book, Steal Like an Artist, 10 Things Nobody Told You About Being Creative.
Great book. Really concise.
Yeah, it came out in 2012. It's
Yeah.
part creativity guide, part self-help, I guess. And it's super digestible, like maybe 140 pages.
Packs a lot in, though.
Totally. So our mission here is to unpack the main ideas from Kleon, give you a shortcut to understanding his take on creativity, which is pretty surprising, actually. Hopefully it helps you get past that fear, embrace influence, and, just start making stuff.
And it's fascinating how he tackles that fear head on, that exact feeling you mentioned.
Right.
The book really is a kind of manifesto aimed right at creatives who feel stuck, whether it's because of fear or perfectionism, or they're just sort of waiting to finally be original.
Delay for forever sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And Cleon basically argues, look, creativity isn't about pure, absolute originality. Not really. It's much more about influence. It's about taking ideas that already exist, mixing them up.
Remixing it.
Remixing them, reframing them, seeing them in a new way. His whole goal is to demystify the creative process, make it feel less intimidating, less magical, maybe.
Yeah, less like you need divine inspiration.
Right. So it feels accessible whether you want to make art, write code, design something, build a business, whatever.
Okay, so embrace influences, learn from what's out there. That sounds freeing, actually.
No, it is.
But let's talk about the title. Steal like an artist. I mean, that word steal.
Yeah.
It can still feel,
A little dicey.
yeah, a little illicit. How does he draw the line
Uh-huh.
between what he calls good theft and just, well, ripping someone off? Because that feels like a really important difference.
Oh, it's absolutely crucial, and he's very clear about it. Good theft is nothing like mindless copying. Nothing at all.
Okay.
It involves real transformation. You have to take the source material, really understand it, pull it apart, see how it works, and then you reassemble it, but with your own perspective, your own voice, your own spin.
So there's effort involved. It's not lazy.
Definitely not lazy. It takes curiosity, work, and this is key giving credit, respecting the original creators. He makes a big point of that.
Oh.
Think of it like maybe a chef. They study classic dishes, learn the techniques, understand the flavors, but then they create something totally new, their own interpretation. It's inspired by, but not identical to. That's the kind of transformation he means.
That analogy helps a lot. Building on shoulders, not just hiding in shadows.
Exactly. You're building on what came before.
Yeah, it makes so much more sense. And it
Yeah.
really challenges that whole idea of the lone genius locked away having brilliant ideas in isolation, doesn't it?
Completely. He pretty much dismantles that myth.
How so?
Well, he shifts the focus from the lone genius to something he calls the scenius. Scenius.
Genius. Okay, new word for me.
Yeah, it's a great concept. It's not about one single brilliant person. It's about the collective intelligence, the ecology of a scene,
A community.
like a whole group. Yeah, a vibrant group or network where ideas are bouncing around, being shared, built upon, amplified. Think about like Silicon Valley in the early days, or maybe the Impressionist painters in Paris, or a specific music scene.
Right, where everyone's kind of feeding off each other.
Yeah, precisely. Ideas circulate, they evolve, they spark new ideas in others. Cleon's point is, instead of trying to be a genius all by yourself, you should find your genius. Immerse yourself in a community of people doing interesting things, learn from them, contribute back.
That feels so much healthier, actually.
Yeah.
Less pressure, more connection.
Definitely less pressure. It's about collaboration, even indirect collaboration through shared influence.
Which brings us to some of the really practical stuff in the book, the 10 things. He talks a lot about habits, routines,
Yeah.
not just waiting for lightning to strike.
Yes, that's central. One of his big points is be boring. It's the only way to get work done.
Be boring. For creativity, sounds wrong.
I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, but what he means is set up a routine, have a schedule. Creativity actually thrives on that structure, on habit. It's not just about wild inspiration hitting you.
So consistency is key.
Exactly. He talks about just showing up every day. at your desk, your studio, your keyboard, wherever, even if you don't feel like it, even if you feel completely uninspired.
Just put in the time.
Put in the time. Because it's often during that consistent, sometimes frankly boring process of just doing the work that the good ideas start to bubble up. It takes the pressure off needing some grand flash of insight every single time. You do the work.
Okay, so the predictability of the routine kind of creates space for the unpredictable creative stuff to happen.
You got it. That's a great way to put it.
But then he also talks about something that seems like the opposite. Side projects. He says they're really important. How do those fit in, the whole be boring routine thing?
They fit perfectly. It's not really a contradiction. He stresses side projects are important because, well, they're often where the really interesting, maybe more original stuff starts.
How come?
Because your main job, your main gig, that often pays the bills, right? It has expectations, deadlines, maybe clients.
Sure. Pressures.
Exactly. But side projects, you usually do those just for you, out of passion or curiosity. There's less pressure, no external judgment, usually no money involved at first.
So more freedom.
Total freedom. Freedom to play, to experiment, to follow weird little ideas down rabbit holes. Lots of artists, writers, entrepreneurs find their biggest breakthroughs, sometimes even their main career path eventually, started as just a little side project they did for fun. It's a place to stretch and learn without high stakes.
That makes a ton of sense. It's like a low-pressure lab for trying out that good theft we talked about.
Precisely, and experimenting.
And it connects to another thing he mentions, which I found interesting, the idea of using your hands more, getting away from the screen sometimes.
Yeah, use your hands. He argues that screens can sometimes flatten ideas or keep us in a certain mode of thinking. Working with physical materials, drawing, cutting, building, it engages different parts of the brain.
A different kind of thinking.
A different kind of thinking, maybe a more tactile, spatial way. It can unlock things that typing might not. It's another way to interact with ideas to transform them.
Okay, so let's try and tie this together for someone listening. What does all this mean for you, the listener? I guess it means, first off, stop worrying about having your whole creative identity figured out before you start anything.
Right. That identity comes from doing the work.
Yeah, develops through the action, through making stuff day in, day out. And think about that idea Kleon pushes.
Mm-hmm.
Create the thing you wish existed.
Mm-hmm. It starts as selfish, but ends up being generous.
Exactly. If you want it, chances are someone else does too. And don't forget, using your hands, getting analog sometimes, it can be a different path to finding those sparks, transforming those influences you're stealing.
And if we zoom back out, the big sort of counterintuitive idea from Kleon is really this. Nothing is truly original. All creative work, all of it, builds on what came before.
It's kind of liberating when you accept that.
It really is. And this deep dive, I think, showed how he champions that good theft. The kind that involves real transformation, giving credit, showing respect. It's not just copying.
Right, the crucial difference.
And we talked about moving away from the lone genius idea towards the scenius, that community, that network, where creativity really flourishes.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the book, and hopefully this chat, acts as a kind of creative nudge, you know? It's charming, it's encouraging, it reminds you the only way to actually do it is to start. Steal smart, show up, use your constraints, have those side projects.
It really demystifies it, makes it feel achievable, not like some heroic struggle.
Exactly. It focuses on the practical stuff.
So as you go about your day, maybe think about this, this thought from Kleon. You are, in fact, a mashup of what you choose to let into your life.
That's a powerful one.
It really is.
Yeah.
So what are you letting in? What ideas, what art, what people, what perspectives, and then how are you transforming all that? How are you mashing it up into something new, something that's uniquely you?
Something to chew on.
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Austin Kleon and the art of stealing like an artist.